just so y'all know, it's not just some regular keyboard. Like, he's a scientist. Fucking with play some shit.
If you like indie, I read Donnie, Flowetry, Bone Crusher, Neo Soul. A lot of that wouldn't be where it is if it wasn't for Yin Yang.
I don't know if you had an opportunity to go to Yin Yang. I don't know where y'all from.
That was the spot where people would just come and perform.
There's really talented people in here, so I can't come back in here until I know what I'm doing.
If you're somebody that you think you're open and you think you're one, you have these aspirations, you gotta end up at our door.
Seeing Erykah Badu, first time I ever saw her perform was at Yin Yang. I'm sitting here, Andre is sitting right next to me at the same table.
Cameo would come in the house, chilling at the back bar. I don't know nobody who didn't come through Atlanta at that time who didn't come.
I was a chef there, so I would cook and then leave from back there, go perform.
The hood would come out, the eclectic people would come out, the tree huggers would come out.
At one point, every time I wrote a song, I would go to a Yin Yang or Apache and get up on their open mic night. It didn't matter what the name was at the time.
You walk in that space, I don't care if you didn't sing. You thought you could sing, or you were gonna write, or you were gonna draw, or you were gonna create something.
I couldn't begin to imagine who I would be had that space not intervened in my life at the point at which it did.
Fucking little hole in the wall part of my language, but like that hole in the wall, that was love.
Easy, what's happening?
Hey there, how you doing?
There you are.
Yes, we are in. We are finally in here. I think you had.
What's going on, good brother?
Good. I'm good on this end here. Good to see you.
Great to see you too.
Yes.
How's the missus?
Oh, she is well. She is doing well.
Please give her my love and regards.
Oh yeah, definitely will. Definitely do. Let me make sure our levels are good. Can you hear me well?
Okay, I can.
You can? Okay, good. Awesome. Good. All right, so right off the bat, welcome. This is Kicking It with Key C show.
Yes.
About 6-7 years in the game with doing a podcast. I've been probably, building my own podcast for about 7 years, and then my radio network probably 5 of those years. So I have about 20 something shows that are actually on my podcast network as well. So we got a nice group of people, plethora of different things that we do.
You got the family together. You got the community, building that community.
Hey, that's what we're trying to do here.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so right off the bat, let me introduce you to everyone. We got Kemi. It is Kemi or Kemi? Kemi, that's what I thought. Okay, because I also know somebody named Kemi spelled the same way. So it's Kemi Bennings, and we met a few weeks ago. Got to give a shout out to my guy Jazz who made the connection. That's my guy Smitty's brother Jazz. But Jazz is pretty, cornerstone here of this city. You know what I mean? He has really been iconic for the Atlanta area, and so he put me in touch with some other people who are doing iconic things. So Kemi is one of them because she actually has created or executive producer of an iconic documentary by the name of Spring and Third. And I watched that. I was able to take some time out and watch it. But even before that, let me explain. We're gonna go a little bit into it. Kemi also owns a vegan restaurant in the West End called Dog ATL. So I met her on this day. Went there, had a great. And you listen, I was like, okay, I'm open. I had a great vegan hot dog made out of carrot. You know what I mean? It had all the fixings on. You had all the different styles of it. It was beautiful, and I tasted it, and it was great. You know what I mean? So we actually met in the spirit of Kemi. Between me and my wife and Kemi, it was wonderful. I knew she was great people the moment I met her. So since then, she has become, you know what I mean, someone that I've, definitely bookmarked. Like, this is someone that, I want to continuously keep into my friendship circle and be, intertwined in the, in the spiritual manner of, you being able to blossom in who you are and continue to build in positive manner. And that's who you are. And I already felt that from your spirit.
Thank you. Well, first of all, you can't get too far, Kesey, without me tipping my hat to you. And also to Jazz. That's one thing about, the community here in Atlanta is that, we're tight knit and it's less than 6 degrees of separation. So a lot of times when we mention each other's names, it's like, oh, okay, we might not know each other in that instant. But when we start reminiscing and talking about this culture that we call Atlanta and these various time periods and time capsules,
yes.
Incubators of music and social change and all of those things, certain names come up. And I, too, keep my ear to the ground. So I want to just, shout out to you, Kesey, for the work that you're doing and that you've been doing. And, there's no try in the matter, because, anybody you was up on podcasts before they got popular. So I want to just give a shout out to you and what you're doing and, continued, growth and success with what you are doing. Because, everybody wants to be in the hot seat kicking it with Kesey.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So with that, after meeting her, I decided, I said, you know what? I'm going to go home and take a look at this documentary. I watched the documentary and I was just blown away because of the influence, the things that we have here in this city. It's so many different avenues when you think of Atlanta as being a melting pot. We're not the big New York City and, LA, etc. But we're growing. And the scene here in Atlanta, commercially, with the entertainment and the political and all the other different cultural things that we have going on here, you know what I mean? As a people, as an African American growing up in Atlanta, it's a very good, nurturing environment to thrive in. I've lived in Virginia, from Newport News. Actually, I'm a Grady baby, but I grew up in Virginia. But I came back here, and it's like I can't move anywhere else because of what Atlanta has produced. Now, Watch the Spring and Third actually reminded me of, because I'm very heavy into the music and entertainment, just it helped me to kind of reminisce and think about the things that it felt like I was a part of that movement. So anyway, we'll talk about,
absolutely.
We're going to talk about Spring and Third. We'll talk about the thoughts of it. So for those that don't know, Spring and Third is about the Yin Yang Cafe, which is at the address of Spring and Third. And it was very influential for the soul music scene and all kinds of different hip hop and all kinds of different music here in the Atlanta metro area. So tell me a little bit about your history, how you came up, and even how we even got to this project. So where are you originally from, Kemi?
So originally I'm from Augusta, Georgia.
Okay.
Home of the Masters, James Brown, and my family. And moved to Atlanta in the late 80s, early 90s. Late 80s I moved to Atlanta.
Okay.
And really just really smitten at that time, with what was going on and with the scene, as it were. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
So that was just a slight little pause, but yeah, when I moved here, it felt like something brewing. It was something in the air. I mean, I kind of started and got my feet wet in the poetry scene, and anybody who's ever stepped foot in Atlanta and stayed for a while has heard of a little spot called Rio Mall.
Yes.
This Tucker's Club was there. A little Patty Hut Cafe, a little Jamaican spot. They used to host poetry on Thursday nights. But the cool thing about it, it was happening everywhere. That when I went to Patty Hut Cafe and began to talk to people, it's like going down a rabbit hole. And what we learned, it was just a whole underground ecosystem of arts, music, and culture that was brewing at that time. Places like Yin Yang Cafe and MJQ and just Return to Royalty. All these spaces were influential in cultivating and stirring the scene. Also, the music industry was happening at the same time, with Dallas Austin and L.A. Reid and all of those things, the early 90s. And it was just a perfect opportunity for culture and music and Black folk, to be honest.
Right. Right. So I feel like, sorry, gotta hum out my cord here, I think. Yeah, so I feel like especially during that time, the mix of, like I said, poetry, the music, you know what I mean? The scene actually was kind of thriving, intertwining at the same time. So I do remember people. I do remember the Georgia Meat. I remember Abyss and Cocktails and.
Oh, absolutely.
What was the guy? We had another guy. We saw
Abyss is one of the Abyss. Shouts out to the whole team. I'm hoping that they might be able to jump in and join. But Abyss is also one of the executive producers of the film. Tommy Bottoms, and the director of the film is Malik Salam. And it's interesting that we're all poets. That's how we cut our teeth. And of course, we all know that we all are multidimensional beings. But that was a common thread amongst the team, that we're all, all griots, or writers of poetry. And the vision of Spring and Third was through the eyes of Tommy Bottoms, and he went to Malik Salam, who's also a director here in Atlanta.
Yes.
And and also, during that time, it was, a lot was happening in the city. You have gentrification. Yep. A lot was happening in the whole commercial arena, and where Yin Yang is situated, it was the little guy at that particular point. And between Malik and Salam, they saw a vision of being able to at least tell our history. Right. Because so often, our history is mutilated, or either, just kind of watered down as if we weren't here,
Right.
And someone else tends to take the credit a lot of the time. So, through their eyes and their vision, Spring and Third was born.
Okay.
I was asked to be a part of the team. Probably after a round of interviews. I was interviewed first for the documentary, and short time period thereafter, I got a call to be a part of the team. My role, I feel, as executive director, for me personally, it was just making sure to get as much information and as much historical documentation from the players at that time, so that Malik, as the director, could craft the story in a way that we were all proud. That we grandmama said, you don't leave a stone unturned.
That's right. That is right. that makes sense right there. And like I said, there was so much going on in there. You had your I remember Chocolate Soul. I saw Will Griggs in the documentary.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Chocolate Soul. I mean, you think about it. Yin Yang was a meeting spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yin Yang was a meeting spot. Is where you networked. Is where you felt at home. And it was so. I really love the brilliance of the storyline of Malik, because it gave a somewhat of a historical backdrop of what was going on in Atlanta at that time.
Yeah.
And it also, shed light on the welcoming of a space of the likes of Yin Yang Cafe through the eyes of Reggie Ely and his vision to, create a space that everyone was welcome,
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And the interesting thing was actually how he spoke about the whole international exposure he had. You know, he went overseas, and then he came back and met some of the same guys over here in Atlanta that was over there. That's really interesting. But that lets you know that was some type of a spiritual type of connection that happened. You know what I mean? Like put them together. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Exactly. It's like, you know, when it happens that way, Kesey, you can't make it up. And it's almost like you really have to pay attention, because, you know, at any point, you know, be it, you know, telling, writing a documentary or in your art form, at any point you can give up. At any point in the radio show, you say, you know what, I'm done with this. Right. But when you see a bigger why, when you see that there's something bigger than you that is going to stand the test of time as part of your legacy and as part of your commitment to community, then, you know, it becomes your motivation. You know, we began the project. It had to be 2018 or 19.
Okay.
When we actually released the film, I think it's 2020. Last year. At the Bronze Lens Film Festival. Okay. And it's been like 3 years in the making, right? And, you know, of course, through COVID and various things like that, but just being able to keep, you know, the light of Yin Yang Cafe, you know, really bright, because, you know, what it did for the city of Atlanta, you know, must not go underrepresented or unheard, you know, throughout the years. It's just where India.Arie got her stars. It's a stop there that anybody who heard about Yin Yang Cafe wanted to come by and be there. All of the celebrities and singers and songwriters at that time touched down on this particular space, and vortex, as some called it. Some called it a sanctuary because, you know, it felt like church. Right. You know, some called it an institution because they felt, you know, they could cut their teeth and they could learn and they could graduate from sitting in the seat to maybe being on the stage, you know, from penning a poem to actually sharing a poem. Right. You know, so, you know, I feel like, you know, these are spaces that, in my opinion, you know, when we started, it was almost like a campaign to see if we could nudge the powers that be to save this place, or to at least make a historical landmark, you know, because what it has done for the city. Right. That's kind of part of what it started, you know, as because of the gentrification that was happening. Right. But regardless of any of it, you know, we wanted to tell a story. So, you know, it's a powerful film. I think that it's very much so comprehensive, and how each layer of, you know, from economics to, you know, being Black in Atlanta, to being an artist, all those particulars, you know, came together, you know, the Olympics. You just wonder why sometimes, you know, it takes, you know, one spark to spark something else, to spark something else, to spark something else, right? Right. And so when you look at it in that way, all of these things had to happen in order for us to experience Yin Yang Cafe and places like it. Right.
And then an interesting part was it had the discussion about the club across the street, you know, and the mix that was there. It was an LGBTQ club.
Yes.
I said it right. Mm-hmm. But you had, you know, those people, and, you know, and they mixed with the crowd at Spring and Third at the Yin Yang, and it was like that was like a small microcosm of pretty much what the city has kind of become and kind of grew. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we got all kind of different cultures. You know what I mean? And, you know what I mean? People just, you know, intervene and have their daily interaction and lives, and you know what I mean? And the mix is the mix.
I think it was, you know, when you think about it, and as you'll see in the film, it was a place of acceptance from a standpoint of, you know, live and let live. Right. You know, even before it was, you know, I guess, I mean, people are, I think, more accepting now, but I think it was more acceptable to be unacceptable at that time. You know what I'm saying? Right. And to, you know, have a place like Loretta's and, you know, Club 688, you know, all these places across the street, which all of it was kind of like an alternative flow,
Right.
if you will,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
But it was welcoming for everyone. I mean, you had your hip hop heads, you had, you know, the soul music scene, you had LGBTQ, you know, you had these rave kids, like, you know, this, you know, corridor or city block, you know, was met with all of this alt culture. And, you know, of course, you know, everyone wants a sense of belonging. Everyone wants to find their tribe or have a sense of place,
Right.
you know, and I think that, you know, to be in a city or being in an environment where you feel accepted no matter who you are, and it's just chill and it's just cool, like that was what a lot of people felt. And it was beautiful to see, you know, throughout the film, the reactions of people kind of mimicking the same type of feeling. Yeah. And I think that was very intentional from the director's eye to, you know, to share with the viewer how much this place had such a powerful impact on themselves personally and the greater, larger community of artists and musicians.
Right. And now the cool thing is it's funny when you know, like I said, I've been here for shoot, I guess I came in 1990. I went to Morehouse, and after graduating, I stayed here. So, you know, I got several people in the film, a couple classmates. I got Jamal Akma from WCLK.
WCLK.
Yep, got him. He was in band with me. My guy Kyrie.
Kyrie, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Jabron, I can't think of his last name, but yeah, he was in the band with me as well. Then, you know, I actually, you know, met and interviewed Lil Jon a couple of times. Dreads the Beatnik has been entertaining, you know, at the same time, you know, that we've been doing our thing. So there's so many people, man, that were in it. I was like, this is just crazy. But, you know, it's like, that's the kinship or the connection that you get, you know what I mean? When you look
exactly.
at it, you know what I mean?
Exactly,
you know,
exactly. And you know, it makes it yours. You know what I mean? It offers people who touch down on that space to have a sense of ownership that, you know what, I was part of that.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It from a standpoint of either being in the audience, you know, to receive what was happening on stage, or to be inspired, you know, or to become an artist as a result of being inspired.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It gives, you know, it gives the opportunity to really take ownership of it. Like you can say, oh, those are friends and colleagues and creative colleagues of mine.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I was there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then, you know, there are spaces like this, like all over the country, right?
Yeah.
And so it also motivates and inspires others to really look at, you know, how what we do as Black people, you know, number one, you know, can make such a powerful impact on others just by Reggie, you know, having an opportunity to be abroad and to be inspired. And, you know, he was already in alternative culture, you know, with being an acrobat and all of those things, and also being in theater and all of those things.
Right.
You know, to come back to his hometown and to bring something different, you know, to be inspired by something and to bring it back, only to sow a powerful seed, you know?
And it's funny if you think about it, because, you know, people, I'm going to see how I put it. I can't put it pop culture, but the commercial side of Atlanta, you know, people speak about, you know, you had your LaFace here and you had your Bobby Brown here, and, you know, you had you know, all the movers and shakers in the music industry, but they actually went hand in hand. You know what I mean? They went hand in hand. This scene that the documentary speaks about was going on simultaneously at the same time and making a movement at the same time. You know what I mean? You know, people speak about the commercial top side. You know, that part of it. But that's what, as I watched it, I said, you know what? This went on at the same time. It's just as influential. You know what I mean? You got Grammy Award winning Indy Ari, who came up through there, discovered and all that stuff, and thrived there at the Yin Yang Cafe. And you know what I mean? That's just as impactful for the city as the commercially discussed entertainment scene that was birthed here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In the hip hop scene,
yep.
You know, and I love how, you know, all of the genres of music kind of collided, and it was okay. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And at the same time, I feel like, you know, musically, as Andre put it, you know, the South had something to say.
Yep.
You know, but they had something to say in all of those particular realms. And, you know, they say Atlanta influences everything, and that's been for a long time. And I think that, you know, being able to give a place like Yin Yang Cafe and Reggie Ely and Andre and all of the founders, give them their flowers, you know, for what they've done. And a lot of times we really don't know what type of impact we're making until many years off. You know what I mean? It's like when you're in it, it's like, wow, you know, I'd like to do something. I would like to contribute something, you know, or it's just a passion of yours to do whatever it is. Many times we don't really think about, you know, what the impact will be, you know, 20 years later.
Yes.
Or when we're not here. You know what I mean?
That's true. That is true. We don't know.
You know, we don't know. So, and I think that's the beauty of life, you know, and when it comes from such an authentic place, and such a place, for me, it was just, you know, being able to, you know, tell this story in a way that everyone could be proud, you know.
Yeah.
And Yin Yang Cafe, you know, it's one of those things where you do your best due diligence, and you know, there are always stories that will stay within the walls, stay within the line of the bricks, that will probably never be told. You know, just it is one of those things where, gosh, you just had to be there.
That's
you know,
true, yes.
But it's just, I just think back on those years of all the various happenings. You know, they had, you know, if you were on Straight Ahead Jazz, they had a night for that. If you're on Soul Music, they had a night for that. You had to, you know, the poetry scene, they had a night for that, you know, and just with the owners being so open to, you know, to just provide a safe space, for people to come, let their hair down, have a great time, cultivate their art, you know, and how that, you know, really inspired after the, you know, baton was passed, you know, inspired, you know, the new folks to keep that energy going.
Right. That leads into the next question. So, what did you see as far as the change? Was there a change? Was there any difference in going from Yin Yang to Apache Cafe? Was anything?
I think there was. You know, oftentimes, you know, anytime you have like a changing of the guards, you know, you have to respect what that other person's vision is, right? So Asa and Karen took the reins from there, and I think it still had the same kind of feel, but it was a little bit different because the times were different. There was a lot of industry stuff that was really stirring, even more so at that particular moment. But you still had the likes of like an Al Smith, you know, night where, you know, it was kind of a jam session. You still had, you know, various, because again, you know, the foundation was Yin Yang Cafe. So that location at Spring and Third, you know, people still going to go there. And they had some great programming. They extended that to like, you know, various art projects and still drawings, and, you know, in conjunction with everything, you know, all of the other music programs and whatnot. But of course, you know, you see kind of, I just look at it as a different chapter,
right?
You know, a different chapter, same foundation, but different chapter, but also being able to honor the vision of, you know, who's at the helm at that particular time,
Right. So as far as the documentary, the key players that came together, the vision of the documentary came together, and then you said, okay, we got people interested in, being a part of it. Did y'all have any previous experience on any prior films or documentaries before this, or was this like a first time thing?
This was my first time as far as a full length documentary. I have integrated like short documentary style films within the context of some projects that I've done.
Okay.
But Malik Salam, the director, he has sorry, I'm also on my computer. He also has a wealth of knowledge and experience around film. He is a filmmaker. He's had writings on like HBO and BETJ, as well as like the Black Family channel.
Yes.
So he's been an independent filmmaker in Atlanta for a number of years.
Right. He
started out the poetry scene, but again, multidimensional being, very brilliant mind, and so he was the leader of the pack, and we really as a team. I really enjoyed our cohesiveness as a group. I said it was 3 men and a lady. I was the lady, and three gentlemen. And but yeah, just really being able to support the vision. I think it was very much so Malik style. He was very much so open to our feedback and collaboration, and for all of us making this film something that we could be proud of, and that Atlanta could be proud of as well.
Yes, that's what it looks like. It looks organic. You know what I mean? It's put together. You know what I mean? It actually flows nicely. The conversations are organic. They flow nicely. I mean, it's not like chopped and pieced together. You can tell that it just
exactly.
Flows, you know what I mean? The conversations, the takes, the concerts, the the footage, and all other different things just flow so nicely.
It was really magical. I mean, the entire crew. We went to LA for a round of interviews where we saw, Will Griggs and Larnay and Joy. Okay. It was just very magical how things came together, especially on that tail end, because at that point we really wanted to, we've been working on it for 3.5 years. We're coming out of the pandemic. We really was intentional about delivering something to the people,
Right.
And again, I appreciate the team and Malik for, pushing the button. And our premiere happened at Bronze Lens Film Festival, which is, award-winning film festival right here in Atlanta, led by Kathleen Bertrand. So, so we're really delighted to be a part of that. And then along with Elevate Atlanta, we had a Spring and Third tour where we had 3 screenings here in Atlanta as well.
Okay.
So, and now we are so happy and blessed to be on Tubi. We're streaming. Please, Tubi, tell a friend to tell a friend, watch it. I'll tell you, it's definitely inspiring. And it gives another glimpse into Atlanta and to the Atlanta scene, and why, why we're where we are, what was the whole purpose of that. And then, you can see it and hear it on the airwaves, several different people, that have touched those grounds. India.Arie, Anthony David, Kyrie and Jiva. And matter of fact, it's so interesting. Like Jiva's out doing some tours right now, wow. So, you never know, like, again, what and why we're doing it. Most of the times, as creators, it's like, following our spirit or following our heart on something, just being, passionate about something, not really knowing, like, number one, how it's going to impact others and how it's going to lead you into another trajectory of your life, Right.
Yes. And it was, like I said, it you took something from it. You know what I mean? Like say, okay, yeah, I know them, or I saw that, or I was there, or I you know, oh, I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? So it kept you engaged throughout the whole documentary.
Exactly.
And my wife, she's not even from here. She's from Mississippi, and she's been here for a while, but she missed that whole movement and the whole scene. But she was just enthralled just to watch that and say, wow, you know, I really, you know, missed that. And I was like, yeah, you missed it. You can't.
Yes.
It was Apache, you know what I mean? But I don't even know how many times she had been even in that type of environment, because, you know, you get here and you get in your pockets, and, you know, you're not even really, some people don't have the exposure
Exactly.
to things. You know what I mean? So it's like you see it, like, man, I missed the whole movement, you know. But I love it. It was definitely well done. You know what I mean? And it tells the story. It tells the story, and it's there forever. You know what I mean? It's there to tell the story, and
it's there forever.
Right.
Yeah.
And it also now has sparked. You know what I mean? Like, what's the next scene? What are you gonna do here in Atlanta now? You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like we put this here.
Oh wow! You know, I know. Well, you know, number one, Malik is working on another film right now.
Okay.
And I think that's a feature length film.
Mm-hmm.
As a team, you know, we still have, the opportunity to tell the story through all of the footage that we have, to tell the story of the next chapter, which is Apache Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
And, in interim, like, it's like each of us as executive producers, Malik Salam, Tommy Bottoms, Derek Abyss Graham, and myself and Malik, you know, we all are creatives. So, you know, typically having several different projects going on at one time, and totally being an entrepreneur with starting a business has kept me, pretty busy myself with Care Dog. And I'm also working on a stage production, called Family Dynamics. Yes, my partner wrote a stage production,
nice.
And that's happening in July. It'll be mounting over at Synchronicity Theater. So I've also been working with that production. So just it's always something to keep you busy, Kesey. You know,
and you know you got to come back with the stage.
But
I love interviewing. You know, stage lady, getting people out to try to sell tickets, going out to the show. You know, I always have.
Oh, absolutely, and it's really the timing of it, I think, is very poignant. The play is entitled Family Dynamics, and it talks about it's about a mother who has early onset dementia. And she has called her children to for a family meeting, right?
Yep.
And in this family meeting, of course, you know, there's stuff, you know, as there always is, you know, in families sometimes, and the things that we don't talk about until such time that it's kind of festering so deep in our hearts, so deep in our spirits, that it kind of comes out at the most opportune / inopportune time. So, and when I say timely, it's so many of our parents and various elders are either transitioning or leaving, or also families are dealing with just the aging, parents aging, and many folks have family members that have dementia. So I feel like the play is very timely. And it's got some funny moments in there as well. And but I do feel like, you know, art is always a form of being able to relate to life, you know, and hopefully like lighten the process, or either spark or engage conversation. And I think this play is going to do just that, you know, because I want to say it's up to maybe 3 or 4 out of 10 elders have dementia or some type of form of it. Or, you know, I was talking to a person today, and it's like, you know, people you talk to, either they have someone in their family or know someone who has had either, dementia or Alzheimer's or, through those particular stages. And I think it's so important to talk about those things, especially when we talk about balance and self-care in the process of caring for or being a caregiver to an elder.
Wow. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I had a question in regards to, well, the thing is, and it's funny when you think about it. And I'm going back to Spring and Third. I'm sorry, bouncing all over the place. But I saw, throughout the whole thing, like I said, we had Lil Jon, we had the Chronicle on it, and you had all the members in here, L Rock and Lil Jon and
Phil Davis, that's right. Avery
and guitar. I can't on a guitar. I'm trying to think of his name.
Billy Oda.
Yes. So you had all of them interact, and they were all throughout it. So they were very key. And you kind of think about it, like when you think about Yin Yang, how key the Chronicle was for Yin Yang. It's almost like a partnership. Like, okay, y'all run the doors and all that stuff, and we're gonna run the music.
Right.
And it's
well, you see that that's part of the story. John, met Reggie, and kind of stumbled upon the place. And again, he was doing what he was doing, and it's like, all right, well, here's the spot. I'm doing what I'm doing. Let's make it happen. But also, what it gave the Chronicle, it gave them an opportunity to get, to stretch out. It gave them an open canvas, to create in the way that they, which was organic, Okay.
Yep.
It's like, John, in the film, he talks about how, one person may come in with this and another person will start with that, or, and the layers that will come up, and then just allowing themselves to just kind of stretch out and go somewhere and take the audience with them,
Yep.
Oh man, many a nights I was there, many a night, and that was just one thing, Thursday, the Chronicle, it's just like, you just knew that. It's just like, I don't know. I don't even know. Think about the energy we had during that time, Kesey.
Yes.
Bone Crusher talks about it like you just partying every night, and I think it was different. It wasn't your traditional club scene, but it was still like certain nights or events you just had to be there,
Yeah.
Or when different concerts of people that will come out of Philly or, DC or New York or, and who was also on that same type of soul or alternative vibe. And it's just like, you just had to be there.
Yes.
And
it's crazy because I almost feel, I feel bad because I had an interaction with this organization, but so there was this guy that I met right around at the same time. He decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to put out this CD. So he decided to put out the Chronicle CD. Decided to put out this Chronicle CD, right? The Chronicle.net or whatever he called this guy by the name of TJ. Mr. Shiesty. All right. So Mr. Shiesty decides to put this whole organization together. We were in, I'm trying to remember where we originally were at, but I think we ended up at the second location for Jazz's Spot. Right there on Spring, almost at the interstate. Right. So this guy TJ, man, had put all these people together, all the different talent, everybody who knew how to do something. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you're IT, so I'm over there helping with building the website, building this and that. You know what I mean? I saw independent music on my own website. So he's like, yeah, I want to sell music on our website too. I'm like, okay, cool. So he's like, okay, I'm going to put this group, putting the Chronicle on it. Like, all right, man. So we was pushing Chronicle big time. Boom, boom, boom. So I heard the whole story about how this dude was just shiesty. They ain't get their masters, ain't get the money. I mean, all this stuff. So it was a bad word when I mentioned Still Digital to Lil Jon. He was like, man, I ain't want nothing to do with you when you first said that. And I said, well, man, I had nothing to do with it, man. I was just in the place. But I really met a lot of great people out of still digital. You know what I mean? Except everything except for him. You know what I mean? I had a young lady by the name of Alyssa Haskins. Big fan of the whole movement. I got Marcus. I got Terrence. John Wallace, all these people, man, Fabian, who does the murals all over the city, all those people were all in one spot. So it was like we were a couple blocks away, but we were right there at the same time with the movement. It was just a shiesty organization, I'll say.
Oh my goodness, man. I am totally, that our whole scene is just, I think many people like yourself went to college and ended up staying. Like, listen, this, I found where I'm supposed to be. Yes. I found my tribe. And I think Spring and Third, helped to create those relationships. It helped to create, place, collectives like Groovement and Jiva, and Freddie had his band, and then it was cool because a lot of the owners, each of the owners were musicians. Like Asa, he started out playing drums, he was a drummer. Yeah. And Freddie, when he owned, Freddie was a musician, a singer. Yeah. So, yeah, man, it's just, I think it's one of those stories that had to be told.
It had to be told. That's right.
Had to be told.
That's right.
I just texted the fellas again to see if they could jump on. But yeah.
Yeah, no, Thursday nights are busy. Listen, we might have a part 2 or whatever, whatever. Somebody want to come on.
We have to have a little part 2, because I think it's really important to talk about what we're doing.
Right.
Not only us, but just in the Atlanta scene, especially now. I think COVID has placed I don't know, it's so many types of barriers around, even though we're coming out of it. Yeah. It has existed so long that we have to be even more intentional about, keeping our ear to the ground or seeing what's going on,
Yes.
Because it's so easy. You totally miss it, where things used to be like, so open, now it's like we have to even be creative in order to, keep abreast of what's going on.
There's a positive. There's a positive out of this. There's a positive out of this. So all of the streaming platforms have gone up and, trifold or quadruple or whatever. Tubi being one of them, people watching any and everything that they can get content on. And so your documentary being on Tubi, hey, you know what I mean?
Which is why, one more time, yes.
There you go.
Watch it, stream it for free.
Tubi.
It's one of those that you can sit back and have a great evening with friends, and especially if you're a musician. I was talking to a gentleman friend of mine, John Jointer, in Chicago, and he has a similar, not similar, but it's just talking about several highlighting a few different artists and musicians that were in the soul scene.
Okay.
And how it's so important for us to document and tell the story.
Yes. And you know what? Because you think about the Questlove documentary. You know what I mean? That's
man,
like these pieces.
Summer Soul.
Soul. It's like
so dope.
We're reaching.
So
we're
dope.
Like, come on, we need to put these pieces together.
So dope.
Yes.
So dope. My God.
That was amazing.
Yeah, Quest, he did that.
Yes.
He did that.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes. I agree. Summer Soul is a must watch. Spring and Third, a must watch.
Spring and Third is a must watch. Streaming live on Tubi. I mean, when we saw billboards, we were like really, really, really geeked.
Yes.
We have some billboards here in Atlanta. One on Ponce, one on Cascade, and it's like, wow. It makes me stick my chest out for myself and everyone that was there.
Big ups, big ups.
The pillars, of who I know would be so proud. Like, Ken Beatty would be so proud.
Yes.
Ken Stone. You remember Catch a Vibe with he and Julie Dexter?
Yes.
Used to be there over there on Edgewood.
Yes.
You know, just people that are in the spirit realm with us. A Margaret Carbo, you know, people that would be really so proud that's from our scene, you know, to do this work.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Big time. Big time. Yes, I love it. It's necessary. It's a breath of fresh air. It brings to light, you know, what people may or may not have known. You know what I mean? So that part of it is necessary. So, you know, I just feel like I said, it's a necessary thing to have.
It is. Yep. It is. And I think especially people are, you know, we've had some powerful icons that are moving forward, transitioning in a new world and another dimension. And it's so important when you don't know, like, I mean, none of us know, you know, whether we're here today or going tomorrow, you know, but, you know, when you see it all around you, for me, it just puts, you know, another layer of get on with it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, into the trajectory. It really does. It's kind of like, you know, do what you're going to do, you know, and stay at it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Promise tomorrow.
That's right. All right. Well, how can people get in touch with you?
Oh, they can catch me on Instagram at Kemi Bennings, KemiBenings. Also follow at Spring and Third. That's at SPRINGAND 3RD. And just go to Tubi and watch it. You know, it's really climbing the charts on Tubi. You can pretty much, you know, put in the search engine about 2 or 3 letters. Kesey is coming up on you. So
yeah,
it does. People are watching and people are really being inspired by the film. And, you know, we just wanted to stretch as far as wide as it can go.
Yes. Yes. Very good. Very good. Very good. I love it. I love it. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So anytime you want to come back, you know what I mean? Definitely come back. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I didn't know that, you know, and I thought we'd probably be a little bit all over the place as well, but definitely. Hold on, let me decline that call here. Send the voice. But definitely, I would love to bring the fellas on.
Oh, yeah.
You know, had I known be a little more dedicated to Spring and Third, I would have had them on from the jump.
Oh yeah.
But
you
know, it's nice to be able to you know, to kick it with you. And yeah, I would definitely love for Malik to come on and talk about not only our film, but, you know, what else is in the pipelines and Abyss as well.
Okay.
And Tommy, you know, I think it'll be a great conversation.
Okay.
You know, to kind of revisit and then be able to see what's going on next.
Yes, and then you got your hands in a lot of things. You're creative. We're gonna get into. We're gonna talk about the vegan owner restaurant here in Atlanta. We're gonna talk about all that. We got so many things. You know what I mean? Your hands in a lot of pots like mine. So so we'll definitely come back on and talk on that, because I want everybody to have that greatness that you're presenting over there.
And I really appreciate you, you know, taking the time to just have a great conversation. It's always great to see you. And when we met, it was just like, you know, we in there for life.
There you go. Thank you for coming in and kicking it with Kesey. Hey, and like I said, just let me know, and we'll have you on.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm gonna synchronize with the fellas, and I'll get with you in the next few days, and let's see if we can lock something down. We have everybody on.
Okay, awesome. All right. Thank you.
Beans. Much. All right, Spring and Third on Tubi, streaming live right now. Go ahead and watch it. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All righty.
Talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's see. Yep. So we actually have Had a great show here with Kemi Bennings. Spring and 3rd, like I said, get on Tubi. Get the story of the Yin Yang Cafe. A lot of magical stuff coming out of that area. A lot of stuff. A lot of I'll say it's a lot of what's the word? Creation and a renaissance. I don't even know if that's the word, but it was basically a renaissance that actually came out of that area. And it's really unexplainable. You had to really watch it to see how it unfolds and all the different key players. But the interaction and the intertwining of the different entertainment acts, man, that came through. It's major. You know what I mean? Yin Yang Cafe, later known as the Apache Cafe, major here in the city. But hey, I appreciate y'all definitely coming through, man, and kicking it with your boy here, KC. We do it big. We here Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like I said, we're here on xsquadradio.com. Get the mobile app, X Squad Radio mobile app. And hey, we just do it, man. Be sure to continue to follow us, man. I will holler at y'all next time. Be sure to check out my man Mo Cheese tomorrow live at the Mirror Lake Golf Club. He'll be going live here on X Squad Radio. And in case y'all didn't know,
this is a Squad podcast.
Feels so good to be me. Hope it feels good to be you. It feels so good to be young. It feels so good to be free. It feels so good to be fly. It feels so good to be me. It feels so good to be young. It feels so good to be free. It feels so good to be fly. Feels so good to be me. I woke up about 10 o'clock in the morning. Gave myself a stretch up, I'm on the yawning. Put on my black Levi's and black Jordans. This G-code shit be so important. Shine so bright you can't ignore it. Some lames will kill and maim for it. And the black on black whip that's foreign. We don't call it riding, we call it touring. Haters, got another name for you. Envy, but I still remain cordial. Cause I would really hate for the 442. Pop your ear out like an inner tube. May I remind you, I am a felon who caught a lot of cases over attitudes. I'd rather cop haze and get high with it. Get paid and stay fly with it. You know why? It feels so good to be young. It feels so good to be free. It feels so good to be fly. It feels so good to be me. It feels so good to be young. It feels so good to be free. It feels so good to be fly. Feels so good to be me. I take a shower, get dressed for the evening. Low button up, True Religion jeans in. I take a sip and hit the piff and get the lean in. Back up in that Batmobile, gleaming. Hit up the happy hour spot for a drink then. Hit up my thugs and hit the club that we frequent. And hopefully I'll find a hottie I can freak with. Or two, one black, one Puerto Rican. Skip the line on my VIP shit. It's seen a dime that I think I'm a creep with. It's in the eyes, she minds, I can see it. In the switch of a hip high cheek sit. A couple shots of Patron, two-stepping them gone. Licking and shorty, like we going home. Splash on them and I can't complain. Take a picture, I'm doing my thing. And you know what? It feels so good to be young. It feels so good to be free. It feels so good to fly. It feels so good to be me. It feels so good to be young. It feels so good to be free. It feels so good to be fly. Feels so good to be me. It feels so good to be young. And it feels so good to be free. And it feels so good to be fly. And I promise I'll live it like this till the day that I'm dying. It feels so good
and grits, or you can catch me kicking on the country roads. But right now I'm on Tiger Park on X Squad Radio.
Radio.
Whoa, now this your boy Big E representing 504, and you're listening to the X Squad Radio Network.
Hey, X Squad, I got one more question, man. Man, y'all gonna pay me for this?
What up, everybody? This is Vince Wright, the sports governor from the great state of Minnesota, and I am definitely listening